What's the number one threat in the third world? What are you always hearing about in Africa and poor areas of Asia and Latin America? Every couple of months you hear about a military coup. I mean, they're going on constantly. Because if you've got a group with the weapons, and you've got a group that's in control of the intelligence, and you've got a group that's got the funding, they're going to overthrow your government. But it's more sophisticated than that here. You've got this offshore corporate group that's engaged in all these takeovers. They use our military as their muscle. They've brainwashed the troops. They have gotten their Rhodes Scholars and their Council on Foreign Relations and their Woodrow Wilson School of International Affairs generals. Look at where McChrystal, and look at where Petraeus, and all of these people, I call him Petraeus so much now, that's his actual name in my mind, they all go to these special schools. They become a general, a one-star general, then they disappear for 2 to 4 years into one of 5 global training schools that are above PhD level, that openly call for world government, and then they come out and are put into a higher position of power, and they end up being on the Joint Chiefs of Staff or the heads of CENTCOM or NORTHCOM or SOUTHCOM or AFRICON, AFRICOR. All of this is how they govern. This is how they control. And so they know the American people. They know the only threat to this global, corporate, illegitimate, criminal, treasonous, treacherous takeover of our country that is the New World Order is the American people taking their states back and getting control of the federal government that way. That's why they can't let Arizona fix the problem with the open borders and the crime wave. That's why they want the states bankrupt under federal control. That's why they want the states always with unfunded mandates to not be able to pay their bills, federally unfunded mandates. That's the goal. That's how they took down all these third world countries. We have the IMF World Bank plans from 2002, how they'd done this to countless nations, and how they were planning it in Europe, the United States, England, Australia, New Zealand, Canada. And now it's happening. I mean, if I have their actual blueprints, if I have their actual battle plans, how am I not supposed to come up here and warn you? I'm not that smart. I've learned history. I've studied history, how governments operate, how elites operate, how they do it. And the number one threat is any corrupt elite coming in and buying off your government, buying off your military, promising them even more power if they help have an overthrow of the country. And if you look at England, if you look at Australia, if you look at Canada, look at the United States, it's all the same. You see the same articles. Oh, to help with security and to bolster security right now at the G20 or in Toronto or in Illinois or in California, oh, we're going to have Army out at checkpoints. And you see the same stories written the same way everywhere. And they're shake and bake articles. No matter how many times you buy the same pancake mix and it says take 2 eggs and this much milk and stir it up and then put it on the griddle. These articles are like box pancakes. It doesn't matter if it's Australia, England, Northern Ireland, the United States, Germany. It's the same report over and over and over and over again. Just the names are changed. The names of the towns are changed. This is a strategic, creeping death takeover of our society. Now, I want to go to Joe and John and Redneck and Vic and JG and others here in just a moment. And we're going to take calls to the bottom of the next hour, and then I'm going to cover governor's voice grave concern over immigration, the latest on the immigration developments and the states' rights fight in Arizona. I'm going to get into the economy. I'm going to get into LeBron Nation. Americans hypnotized as country collapses. Key new article by Paul Watson up on prisonplanet.com. Then I'm going to get into these newscasts from around the country where they openly roll out martial law by stealth. They're not going to announce martial law overnight. They're just going to incrementally do it. You understand that in the late 90s, I interviewed on air Thomas Sanchez, emergency manager, L.A. Phillip, chief of police San Antonio, countless people. And we would send cameramen, or I would go, and I would have Marines and Army walk up to me, and my cameramen would, with their guns, in Main Street, USA, and say, you turn your camera off. I've had the Army with Marines do it in Belton, Texas. I've witnessed our camera guys in Brooksville, Florida. This happened to us. I have got the footage of it happening in Hebron, Maryland, in Swansboro. The list goes on and on. You haven't experienced the tyranny till you've been there. I mean, I tried to cover Brooksville, Florida, and announced I was going to cover an urban warfare takeover drill because people inside the Army had told me that this was a practice takeover drill of the airport, the local municipal airport, with the local police, a roundup drill. And I got there, and we interviewed people. This is in Police State to the Takeover, and I'm walking around in neighborhoods in Brooksville, Florida, and women come out and go, yeah, are you Alex Jones? The Army came and knocked on my door and said, don't talk to you, that you are a dangerous kook. And then I'm sitting there trying to videotape through the municipal airport fence at night, totally legal, and they have a special forces guy jump out of the bushes and start trying to light fires, blaming me for it, and I've got to start stomping them out, and I've got to physically begin restraining the person from doing it. I mean, these people are jumping out with lighters. Troops in plain clothes jumping out with lighters, lighting fires. These are terrorists, ladies and gentlemen. They have been trained to engage in black ops against the American people. Because they're going to take your pension funds. They're going to loot this country. We're being militarily conquered. We'll be right back. Stay with us. A lot of people say, I don't care if they have military checkpoints. I don't care if they search my car. I have nothing to hide. Ladies and gentlemen, I see reports every week where police pull somebody over with guns in their trunk, even in places like Texas, and they're not illegal. And the cops just go ahead and arrest you and take the guns. You never even get them back. Even when you sue them. Remember Katrina. Remember what happened there. The establishment hasn't had a 20-plus year secret program to merge the police and the military and to train them to work together against the people for nothing. The globalists took over this society a long time ago, and they said, why don't we just use the U.S. as an engine for global domination? And they said, well, why don't we just start robbing the people blind? Well, they'll get angry. They'll get upset. They could take the states back. We'll just get the states in debt, buy them off. We'll federalize local police by stealth, and then we'll stage terror attacks as a pretext to clamp down on the public. And the public will be told we're doing this for their safety. Okay, let's do it, just as long as we don't get caught, just as long as we're in control. We're in control. Let's do it. Hell, look how many countries we've overthrown using this army. We'll do it here in the U.S. That's the New World Order in a nutshell. And none of us are safe, my friends. None of us are safe. It is time to wake up to these realities. It's time to wake up to these facts now and understand just how serious this really is.